I thought my neighbor was knocking on the wall. Until I found the truth about apartment 3B. Part 2. After that night with the police, I couldn't shake the feeling that something, or someone, was watching me. The tapping on the wall was relentless. And each time it started at 2 a.m., I felt an inexplicable pull toward 3B. My fear was real, but so was a strange curiosity that had begun to gnaw at me. I decided to confront the landlord about what was really going on. "Who lived in 3B before?" I asked, trying to sound casual, though my heart was pounding. The landlord hesitated, glancing around nervously before speaking in a low voice. Her name was Sarah. She kept complaining about noises, shadows, said she felt like she was being watched. Then, one day, she just vanished. No trace. Like she never existed. That name, Sarah, sent a shiver down my spine. The name felt familiar, as if I'd known it all along. That night, I couldn't get her out of my head. The tapping started again, and I pressed my ear to the wall, listening intently. And then I heard it. Her voice, soft and pleading. "Help me, please." It was haunting, filled with a pain that seemed to seep into my bones. Against my better judgment, I found myself standing outside 3B's door, my hand trembling as I reached for the handle. It creaked open, and a wave of decay hit me. But I stepped inside, drawn by something I couldn't explain. The room was dark, the air heavy, and there, in the corner, was a shadowy figure. Sarah. She was faint, almost transparent, but her eyes were clear, piercing through the darkness and locking onto mine. "You came," she whispered, her voice a mix of relief and sadness. "I knew you would." Her presence was chilling, but I couldn't tear myself away. There was a tragic beauty to her, a sorrow that pulled me in deeper. As she stepped closer, I felt the air around me grow colder, and I shivered, but I didn't move. Her gaze held me in place. And when she spoke again, her voice was softer, more intimate. "He left me, you know, the one who promised he'd stay. Just like you. But you won't leave me, will you?" There was a desperation in her eyes, and I found myself nodding, almost against my will. Suddenly, her cold hand touched my face, and I felt a shock of fear and something else. A twisted, forbidden desire. The room began to spin, and the shadows around us seemed to close in, suffocating. The tapping grew louder, more frantic, as if trying to drown out her voice. "Stay with me," she whispered, her breath cold against my skin. "Don't leave me alone in the dark." I knew I should run, should pull away, but I was rooted to the spot, caught in her chilling yet intoxicating presence. I could feel her loneliness, her despair, and it mirrored something deep inside me, something I didn't want to acknowledge. Then, without warning, a loud, thunderous knock shook the room, breaking the spell. I stumbled back, the door to 3B slamming shut with a violent force that rattled the walls. My heart raced as I scrambled to my feet and ran back to my apartment. Slamming the door behind me, my phone buzzed in my pocket. A message from an unknown number. "You've let her in. It's too late now." A cold dread washed over me. I realized that whatever Sarah was, wherever she had gone, she was now a part of my life. And as much as I wanted to escape, a part of me wasn't sure if I truly wanted to.